What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. This is going to be a very brief video today, guys. I don't have a lot of time, so on that note, let's get started. We're at $392 right now. I want to point out the daily RSI because I think, this is very interesting that we are oversold. It's not so interesting that we're oversold, right? We've seen plenty of charts be oversold. That in itself is not interesting, but for Bitcoin Cash, it kind of is. Because if we look back, we go all the way back here since, probably, what would that be, March? Since like the end of the this lull here, whenever we started getting things going. We've only been oversold like this really once, twice, 3 times, 4 times since March of 2023, right? In over a year's length of time. Each one of those times, right, promoted a relative low. Here we went lower, of course, a little bit lower over time, but different kind of circumstances. This was a long phase of accumulation where now we're in the bull market. This low here was at the low of this consolidation phase. This low here was at a relative low of which, we double bottomed and continue to move up. We're very near a low in price, if not already at it. And I think it's obvious based off of the dynamic that we have in the RSI. Of course, we could go lower. Anything can happen, but this is the lowest that we've been in about a year. Okay, just a little under a year, but this is the lowest we've been in about a year. So I think that says something as far as like how close in time are we to our low, and I think we're very close, right? If not, we've already found it, and I kind of do assume that we have found our low. I would assume, but if we go lower, that's okay. Maybe we go lower for a day or 2 or 3, but sometime within the next week, if this isn't the low, sometime within the next week, I would expect we find it. But I do think it is the low. I think actually within the next week or 2, within the next 2 weeks, by the end of this month, we are going to see some kind of recovery that takes us back up probably at least to this, let's call it about $500 to $530, somewhere in this top area where we found resistance time and time again. Between about 500 and 530 is what I would think. And we'll probably see a nice V-shaped recovery. I would assume it would be a strong, not like this, not like this, right? Where we went from a low point of 167 to a high point of 300 before breaking out, right, over here. And it took all this time to work our way up there. It's not going to be like that. I think it would be more something like this. It could be exactly like this, where you move sideways and just have one day that blows up. Or I would kind of look for multiple days back to back marching. The rest of this week, if not even next week, could just be green day after green day, right, with a red day thrown in here or there. And actually, I want to talk about that idea here about days marching up this week. We only have 3 days and 19 hours left in this week. An area that I think is important to watch, important to note, is this 382 from this low here to a high point. What I'm about to say does not need to happen. It's just how I do analysis, okay? So it's worth noting. I don't think this is going to happen, even though this is how I normally do it. This is like the textbook of C-Zar. This is how I would look at it. I don't think it's going to happen. There are always exceptions, not just in charts, in life. There are always exceptions, right? That's not a bad thing. That's just how life is. Come up with your most strict rules. There's always exceptions. You know what I mean? This could be one of those exceptions. And what I love about saying there's always exceptions, there's even always exceptions to there being exceptions, which means that there might actually be things that there are no exceptions to, if that makes sense. It's like a contradictory statement in itself. I love things like that, man. But enough about that. What I want to talk about is the weekly here. From that relative low to high, generally speaking, whenever you see an interaction with the fib like this, where you go to your 382, you find support, you go to your 236, you find resistance, and you break back below your 382, you're basically condemned to your 61869 area, which at this point would take us below $300, okay? I don't want to see that happen. I don't think that's going to happen. Even if we close below the 382, I don't think that's going to happen. But we are so close to this 382, and we have 4 days left in this week. I would love for us, for the Dragon Riders, I think if we can get together, have a little powwow, and talk amongst ourselves and be like, hey, let's just stop selling. let's bring the price up to at least $409. That by the end of this week, I think that'd be nice. So that's the goal. That's the goal in the next 3 days and 19 hours, is to get the price back above $409. I very much think that's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if we were closer to $500 than we were $400 by the end of this week or going into next week, right? But time will tell. Again, even if we close below this, that does not mean that we're going down here, but it certainly from a fib perspective would add to the likelihood. Okay, so that's kind of the goal. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I personally don't believe we're going to go lower. I do think this is the low. I think that based off of what we've seen in the RSI, it wouldn't make sense to go that much lower immediately, right? And looking at this fibs, this would be a more or less immediate kind of call. So the next move that I'm calling for really is a move that's going to take us relatively quickly by the end of this month, if not the first like couple days of next month, up to this $500 to $530 area. And that's all I got to say. On that note, actually, it's not all I have to say. I want to say one more thing. We will not be below $400 for much longer, guys. This is a key opportune moment in history where you can say that you bought Bitcoin Cash below $400, okay? I theorize by the end of this cycle, Bitcoin Cash will never see prices. Never. Not that it'll happen years later. I mean this. Like, never again will Bitcoin Cash see prices below $1,000. It might even be higher than that. It could be like 3,000, 2,000, right? Something like that. We're below 400 right now. In a week or two, maybe in a day or two, it could be 12 hours from now, we will never again see prices below $400. If you're thinking about buying Bitcoin Cash, if you've been waiting to buy Bitcoin Cash and you were going to pull the trigger down here, but you didn't, and now you're like, it's just going to go a little bit lower, I'll get in there. Stop hesitating, stop waiting, seize the moment, okay? And if it happens to be wrong, seize more of it down there, but don't sell down there, right? Not financial advice, do what you want to do, but these are prime buying opportunities. My minimum target that I have in mind for Bitcoin Cash by the end of this cycle is $13,000. If we take the all-time high to the all-time low fib, the minimum extension is $13,000, basically $13,000 on the dot. From the current price up to there, that is a 33x. This opportunity will not be available long, okay? And it makes me want to buy more Bitcoin Cash, man. It's my biggest bag. It's never a bad thing to add to. Certainly not below $400. That's all I want to say. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. I do think we're about to move up. I don't think we will see new highs, new cycle highs, new session highs until probably August. I actually, as bullish as I was going into this month has proven to be a bit of a bull stopper, right? I don't think we're going to take these highs out. Going into this month, I was thinking we would be above these highs by now already. I'm starting to think that it will be later in the summer, if not at the end of the summer, right? Sometime in August or September that we do inevitably break above these highs. So with that in mind, still, I do think we're going to move up rather immediately. But then just because we move up here, does not mean we're breaking through the roof immediately. I would love to be wrong and just see that happen, but we'll probably move up here, consolidate a little bit more, find that next move up, consolidate a little bit more, and then, that would put us right there. That's like the end of July, beginning of August. That makes kind of sense to me. And maybe it doesn't look exactly like this. This is just a brainless idea, but that's the thoughts. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for being here. Take it easy. Peace out. These are not devil horns. I know this is a thing. People are going like, they're flashing the devil horns, and maybe some people mean it that way, right? It's all about what you mean, I suppose. But this, to me, where I'm from, means rock on. So rock on, rockers. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.